Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of this very special podcast. The not so special podcast. Yeah, I forgot we're not special. Yes, thank you for checking out episode 3. I realize that this is not a professional podcast by any means or any stretch of the imagination. But I gotta start somewhere, and I gotta practice, and I gotta get better, and I gotta work on my technique and my video editing and my audio editing, and this just provides a great place for me to do that. So thank you for coming along with this journey. If you have any feedback, questions, anything like that, you can hit me up on Twitter at Creepleet. That is CREEP1337. And if you're watching this on YouTube and you just want to hear the audio of this, you can click on the link down in the description, and that will take you to the SoundCloud version of this, and vice versa. If you're on SoundCloud and want to kind of see my pretty little face, you can click on the link and it will take you to the video version on YouTube, and you can watch me there. Not that I'm that pretty to look at, but at least my wife finds me attractive, as far as I know. Alright, so what have I been up to? It has been a crazy month of January. Christmas and all that stuff. The last podcast, I kind of went over what I did in terms of gaming in 2017, and it was pretty good. I think I had a bigger response to that than I thought I would. Actually, here on YouTube, most people are. I say here on YouTube. I shouldn't say that, because you could be listening to this on SoundCloud and be like, "What the heck, man? I'm not watching your crap on YouTube." So, whatever. I'm sorry. I apologize. I had a lot more reception than I expected, mostly on YouTube. People watching the video or just clicking on the video and listening while they're at work or something. And that's great. I would love to hear more from you guys. Again, hit me up on Twitter. If you want to use the hashtag NSS, I can just do a search and I can find you guys that way as well. I'm going a little bit low tech this time. I'm not wearing the big headphones, the big monitoring, so everything should be good, because all my settings were right last time, as far as I know. So what have I been up to? Let's go over that. I've been playing some games, watching some movies, and listening to a lot of podcasts. So let's start with gaming, because gaming has been I hate to say it, but it's been the thing that I've done the least this past month. So as many of you know, I got a Switch. It hasn't been public knowledge in terms of YouTube or anything like that, but I did put it out on a Facebook group and on Twitter that I did get a Switch for Boxing Day. And the only way I was able to get a Switch is because I was given a gift card, I was going to say a MasterCard or Visa. Of all the things they gave me, I don't mean to sound like I'm complaining, but it's an American Express prepaid credit card, which is great. I'm super thankful to my bosses, not that they'll ever hear this, to my employers for giving that to me, and I'm assuming they gave that to everybody who worked there. But why American Express? American Express is like the one company that the least amount of companies will accept, especially here in where I live. I think in Ontario, because their fees are so high, so a lot of people just accept Visa and MasterCard. Go figure. So already my options are limited. What am I going to do with this American Express? My wife had also gotten a bonus from work, and she had already kind of figured out what she wanted to do with hers, and mine was just kind of extra. And I said, you know what? I am never going to have this amount of literally disposable income ever again, probably. So the amount was pretty decent, in the several hundreds, and I decided, you know what? I'm going to buy myself a Switch. I'm going to buy a Nintendo Switch. I'm going to go all in. I'm going to jump in on the next generation here of Nintendo, and we'll go from there. So, bright and early, I get up. I think the store opened at 6:30-ish, maybe. Yeah, something like that. It opened fairly early. I got up, I think around 5 or 5:30. My son had been crying, so I woke up already, and I wasn't going to go super early in the morning, But I already been woken up by him crying, so I was like, you know what? I'm up. My wife is dealing with him. You know, he's fine. I'm just going to head over to Best Buy and get in line. So I showed up about 15 to 20 minutes before open. I got in line, and it was about maybe 20 or 30 people back. It wasn't a long line. And then I swear within 5 minutes of me getting in line, 100 people showed up and lined, and the lineup was going all the way down the side of the building into the parking lot. It was actually starting to block the driveway where people were coming in, trying to drive into Best Buy. And normally they cut it around the building. You know, if you would cut down the side, you turn and go down the side of a building. That's the way the line would normally go. But in true modern common sense, they decided to turn the other way and decided to go into the parking lot and block traffic. But hey, I'm not in charge. I'm not liable. So whatever. I got into actually a pretty decent conversation with the guy beside me in line. He was coming in to buy a TV. And he said, I asked what he was going for. He said a TV was on sale, this, that, and the other thing. And he asked what I'm going for. And I said, oh, I'm here for a Switch. Oh, are they on sale? And I looked at him like, bro, it's Nintendo. Nothing Nintendo ever goes on sale. And he just laughed. He's like, yeah, that's true. And so we were talking, and he was thinking about getting a Switch. He had a Wii U, or he has a Wii U for him and his kids, and they said they mostly just watch Netflix on it. I did say, hey, you know, if you ever want to get rid of it, you know, here's my number. It's kind of weird giving a number to someone in line. But I was like, hey, here's my number. Give me a shout if you want to sell it. I've got friends looking for them and stuff, so let me know. I haven't heard anything. That's still dead, so don't ask. Anyways, we got in line. The store opened, and it's really weird. I've never had this before. I haven't been Boxing Day shopping in the past like 2 or 3 years. The last time I got up super early to go shopping was to actually buy my TV. You know what most people go for Boxing Day sales for. And so I hadn't been there in, actually I think it was longer than 3 or 4 years. It's probably been like 5 or 6. Anyways, we got into the store, and the entire staff of the store is just inside the entrance, giving everyone coming in a standing ovation as we walk into the store. And I do not understand. If any of you if any of you listeners work at Best Buy or have any inside information, is this a thing? Is this something that people do normally? Because I've never experienced this before, and I was kind of weirded out by it. Either way, I just kind of made my way past them. There was no running, there was no trampling, so this isn't Black Friday. Moved my way to the back. Some people did run past me, but whatever. I'm an adult now, wink wink, and I need to act accordingly. So I'm not rushing and pushing kids over. I walk to the back, I see the Switch box, I pick it up. Now here's my dilemma. I have enough to cover the Switch, but I don't have enough to cover any games, if that makes any sense. So my choice now is, do I buy Zelda again, that I already have on Wii U and beaten on Wii U and have all the DLC for on Wii U? Or do I switch gears and go Mario Odyssey? Because that's also the must-have game to have on the Switch. I don't know. Completely lost. I had no idea. I stood there forever. I have my Switch box under my arm. I'm not worried about them selling out. I'm humming and hawing and this, that, and the other thing. And I looked at the flyer, and the Best Buy had a deal where if you buy Zelda Breath of the Wild on Switch, then they will add a code for the DLC, the Champion's Ballad, and I guess the Champion DLC. They will add that onto it so you can get all of the DLC. Okay, that's a pretty good deal. I'm not gonna lie. But that Mario Odyssey is super tempting. Oh man, I just couldn't decide, so I bought both. So I got to the lineup to pay for my Switch and my games, and I think I was second or third in line for that, because it's not like regular stores where you pick your thing up off the shelf. You have to pick up a display copy, because they're worried about theft at this Best Buy. You pick up your display copy, and then you have to go to a separate checkout line. You can't go to the regular checkout. You've got to go to the electronics checkout at the back of the store to pick up that stuff. Okay, so we went in. I had, oh, by the way, I did have some gift cards, so don't think I'm spending like $200 on video games. I had gift cards saved up from birthdays and more Christmases from like the past 2 years to cover more of the game coverages. Charges, I guess I should say. So it wasn't just my work. I also had, I had the prepaid credit card and then Best Buy gift cards, which is what influenced me to go to Best Buy to purchase the Switch. So I'm in line. The guy in front of me is buying his Xbox One. Xbox Ones were popular this Christmas because they were on sale. He buys his Xbox One. I come up. There's only one person doing this cash. There are 3 cash registers. Boxing Day is one of the busiest shopping days of the year in Canada. Screw it. One person on checkout. Whatever. Alright, here we go. Put my stuff up. And I will also note that the Switch version that I brought to the pickup was the Neon Joy-Con one, the red and the blue one. Get up there, he looks at it. Oh, we don't have any of those. We only have the gray ones. Will that be all right? Well, I guess so. I mean, I don't have a choice. If that's the only one I have, then it's the one I gotta get. I'm not happy about it, but whatever. So right away, I'm not getting the Switch colors that I want. Whatever. It's minor. It's cosmetic. Whatever. I'm an adult. Wink, wink. I can do it. I can handle it. Fine. Here we go. He goes to the back, and he's like, oh, you want these 2 games as well? Fine. So he goes to the back. He comes back out. All right, how do you want to pay for this? Well, here's my cards. Here's my litany of gift cards and prepaid credit cards. So he swipes the Best Buy gift cards. Boop, boop, boop. No problem. Then he swipes the American Express prepaid credit card. Swipe. Nothing, 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 nothing. He types in a few numbers. Nothing, nothing, nothing. Meanwhile, I mean, let's remember this is Boxing Day. There's a lineup of people behind me now who are waiting to buy their stuff before it sells out. It's not selling out, but there's this mentality that if they don't buy it, someone else is going to buy it before them, even though they're in line to buy it. Ugh, crazy. Still nothing happening. Still waiting. He calls the supervisor. This isn't working. He types in a code. Your code for Zelda isn't showing up. Here it is. Well, he had to manually get a code, this, that, and the other thing. Then all of a sudden, the entire system crashes. The entire cash register crashes at that point. It is super frustrating. At this point, thankfully, he was smart enough to get on the radio, back up to cash. Back up to cash, emergency, ASAP, get here right now. The guy shows up, he starts taking people behind me, and they're buying Xbox One. Here I am, the lone Switch guy, and I crash the system. So, anyways, he finally says, you know what, I can't do with this. I'm going to have to reboot this system. Just move over to the other guy, and he'll set you straight. Alright. So, I move everything over again, and I'm hoping that they didn't swipe all of my gift card money, and it's gone now. I know they would fix it. But again, it's just that extra level of confusion and frustration on both parties' part. Anyways, so he gets everything through, blah, 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 blah. Here's the swipe. He can't get the American Express credit card to work. And I'm just thinking, oh my gosh, I hope that my boss actually got this thing activated. Because you imagine how embarrassing this would be. I'm like, well, it's not working. I can't buy it. Adios. That would suck. And to buy these American Express prepaid cards, you're not buying them at like an American Express depot. You're not buying them at an actual store. You have to go to like third-party vendors, and if they don't do it properly, you get a card that's not activated. It's happened before. It's happened to me before, where I've bought a card, I kept the receipt, thank God, and I've given it to somebody, and it wasn't activated, even though I had a receipt that said everything should have been fine. they screwed up something on their end, and it wasn't activated. So I know it's a possibility. Anyways, supervisor has to come again. I'm in line for half an hour trying to check out with a stupid switch. So already I've got a bad taste in my mouth about the thing. Finally, I hear beep, beep, beep. You know, everything went through. It's fine. I had to pay a little bit extra on top, but not a whole lot. All right, I'm happy. I got my Switch. I got my games. I'm out of the store. I'm out. I'm gone. I'm done with this. Get back in the car. Get home. I'm back in my house actually before anybody even's up. No one's up. My kid is back to sleep. My wife's back to sleep. Whatever. I'm back at the house before 7. All right. Then I have to go through, turn on the Switch. I'm excited. This is like opening a new console on Christmas Day. I don't know if you guys remember those days, but I remember getting my very first console on Christmas Day. And I'm super excited. You know what? This is Nintendo. I've never had a brand new Nintendo system, really, on Christmas. So here we go. I'm excited to open the box, putting everything together. So excited. All right, now I'm going to sign in. I start playing Zelda. It's great. I didn't bother playing Mario at that point because, it's Boxing Day. We've got family stuff. I don't want to get invested in something. I just want to play something I already know how to play. Going through it, blah, blah, blah. All right. Then I look on my receipt where I'm supposed to have a code for this DLC, and there's no code. I can't find a code. Great. After all that, they didn't put a code on my receipt. Well, I don't have time to go back to the store because at that point, by the time I realized there was no code on the receipt, it was time to go for family stuff. So anyways, I put the receipt in my bag, in my wallet, and away we went. Went to family stuff, had some fun. I took the Switch. I was playing Zelda. I was showing the family, hey, this is the thing. This is what it is. Everyone's heard about it. No one knows what it is. I'm really the only gamer person in my wife's side of the family. I have a cousin on my side of the family that she's really into games. And so when they come over, she's loving looking at my game collection and stuff. So that's cool. Anyways, on the way back, it's getting late. It's about 7 o'clock at night. All right. I'm gonna stop at Best Buy and I'm gonna talk about getting the code. All right, fine. My kid's asleep in the back, so my wife's fine. I run to the store. Excuse me, miss. I'm supposed to have a code on this. She looks at it, confused. What code were you supposed to have? Sorry, what's a DLC? What is a DLC code? All right, so I found the one person who doesn't know what a DLC code is. I have to spend 10 minutes in the store explaining this, that, and the other thing. Anyways, user error. It's my fault. The code is on the receipt, but it's because of the screw-ups. The receipt that I have had a bunch of numbers and letters and symbols at some point on the receipt that was supposed to be like Champion or Zelda DLC code, blah blah blah. That's what it was supposed to say. It didn't say that. I just assumed it was a bunch of numbers and letters, whatever. It was there, and she's like just highlighted. Here it is. It's amongst all of these letters and symbols. All right, finally, thank you. So I come home, put my kid to bed. Wife goes to bed. All right, I'm still playing Zelda. I'm still having fun playing Zelda. I bring up my Switch again. I go into the eShop. Here, redeem code, blah, blah, blah. Type this code in. It comes up, Legend of Zelda, ... Looks fine to me. Hit download. Wait for it to download. I click on it. It is not the Champion's Ballad or any of the other DLC for Zelda. It is the entire freaking game of Zelda Breath of the Wild now downloaded onto my Switch when I've already purchased the freaking game. So I have 2 copies of the same game and no DLC. I hope you guys can hear the frustration in my voice. Anyways, that's pretty much the end of that story. I'm not going back to Best Buy, whatever. But now I'm in a conundrum because I have it downloaded and I also have it physical, and I don't need both. So should I sell the physical? I mean, logically that's what I should do, because I'm not going to play that version of it because I have it downloaded. But I'm also a collector, and I also really like that game, and I kind of want it to have a physical version of it, which I have. So should I sell it? I've already paid for it. I don't know. It's confusing. that has been my day. That has been my experience with the Switch. But other than that, it's been good. I've been playing Mario Odyssey. That's been fun. I still think Breath of the Wild is better. That is my own personal opinion. And I am speaking. I know this is behind the times, but Legend of Zelda: Breath of the Wild earned Game of the Year, and I completely agree that it deserved it. That's beside the point. But still, that's my Switch story. I hope that you guys had a better Boxing Day experience, and I know it's a bit late, but whatever. All right, moving on. So, what else have I been playing? I played Inside on the PS4, which is kind of a continuation. It's from Playdead, the publisher Playdead, who also published Limbo. And I beat Limbo. It was one of my games of 2017 that I beat. I also beat Little Nightmares, kind of in the same vein, different developer, different publisher, same kind of idea, puzzle platformer, everything's trying to kill you. Inside is just another version, kind of an updated, almost better version of Limbo. Same kind of play mechanics, similar kind of puzzle ideas. I think overall it is better than Limbo, though. I did enjoy the puzzles more. Everything seemed to be a bit more logical. Some of the stuff in Limbo seemed to be a bit obtuse. I kind of had to, think outside the box for some of them, which is good, but I think the ones inside just seemed to be a little bit more entertaining. So I beat that by myself, and then I actually had a friend come over this past weekend, and I realized that I am filming this on the 24th, so think of the weekend of the 20th. I had a friend come over on the 20th, and I asked him, have you ever played Inside? He had played Limbo before. He said, no, I never played Inside. So I popped it in and just let him play it, and we went through the entire game again. So technically, I've finished Inside twice. So that's been good. It's been a really good game. If you have played Limbo, I would suggest you play it. I did buy the combo pack for PS4, so it has Limbo and Inside on it. I think that's the third copy of Limbo I have. I have a 3-pack of games on the 360 that has Limbo on it, and then I got Limbo for free with PS Plus, and then I bought it again on that combo pack, and I've only played it once. And I played Inside twice already. Go figure. The other game I played was Thomas Was Alone on the Vita. Now, it's a really good game. I really enjoyed it. It's all made by one guy. I think his name is Mike Bithell or something like that. Made the entire game. He had it narrated by someone else, obviously, but he, everything, all the assets and the programming, everything's been done by him, which was really impressive. And I played the entire thing on my Vita, mostly because my wife was watching TV and doing stuff, and I just kind of sat in the corner on my Vita and played it, which has really been good. I haven't been playing a whole lot of my Vita, and it was nice to pull it out again and work with it. The one thing my love for that system just grows every time I play it. It's got Bluetooth functionality on it, and it's something the Vita has over the PS4. So the PS4, if you want to Bluetooth something, you've got to have a special dongle or adapter or transmitter or something to link up Bluetooth headphones. The Vita, I don't. I could just turn on Bluetooth and connect it, and I have wireless headphones hooked up to my Vita, and I can listen to everything. It works as a chat headset. I mean, it's awesome. So, it's so good. So I played through that in one sitting. It took me about 4 hours, and I did put it up on Twitter as a Just Beat It for the guys at Polykill. They seem to enjoy the Just Beat It hashtags, so glad I can throw some more stuff their way. And then I was thinking to myself, I think my wife would actually enjoy this game. It's not, there isn't enemies. There's nothing trying to kill you. It's basically just kind of puzzles. You have to get from point A to point B with everybody. How do you do it? And so I think about a couple of days later, I said, you know what? Here, I have a PS TV, a Vita TV. I'll just pop this in, and you can play it there. And it'll be great, So start working at it. Plug in the Vita TV. Haven't plugged it in over 2 years probably. Get the thing, plug it in. Update. You have to update to use the software. Oh, goodness. Nothing can be simple. Nothing can be simple when it comes to playing video games. Unless you're playing it on the one specific device it was designed for, then it's not easy. All right. Well, here we go. Also, this game cartridge is not compatible with this device. Okay, great. So I am completely stuck here. I'm thinking to myself, all right, there's got to be a way. I know there's a hack where you can hack the Vita TV, where it pretty much whitelists all the games on it. So you're not limited by this, whether it's PlayStation TV compatible or not. So as I'm looking it up, I start, fiddling around with the controller for the Vita TV, hitting some buttons. All of a sudden, updating. Crap, shit. Oh. In order to hack the Vita TV, it's got to be on hardware 3.60 or lower, and I just updated it to 3.61, which is impossible to hack. I screwed myself. So my Vita TV can no longer be hacked. My Vita itself can no longer be hacked. I think it's at a higher firmware actually than the Vita TV. Yeah, so I just kind of screwed myself. So I had to go to the shelf and open my PS4 copy for my wife to play. Because damn it, she is going to play this game. And she did. And she quite enjoyed it, actually. We had some time to ourselves. Here's the game, why don't you try it? And she got into it. I think we played for about 30 minutes an hour. She does have trouble figuring out, the jumping mechanics, and everything's a little bit delayed, and it's a little slower, and whatever, it's new. She's not a gamer. I think she's played a little bit of Mario in the past. But yeah, that's about it. She's not... Platformers are not her forte. So, anyways, that was fun. I did enjoy watching her play that. And it's interesting on my part to see someone who doesn't normally play games or do puzzles that much just kind of work through, all right, this works, this doesn't, this whole trial and error thing, trying to figure out how do I get to point B from here. But yes, quite interesting. So I've also been watching a lot of movies and TV. So as part of my job, I drive around all day amongst the stupidity of the general driver, and it's chaos. A lot of people are trying to kill you. A lot of people are trying to kill themselves. And so it takes a lot of mental energy to drive a truck. I know it just seems like I'm just sitting in a truck all day, but I guarantee you it's a lot harder than just sitting in a truck trying to get from here to here. Imagine driving... Now, okay, I'll try to put this in perspective. Imagine that every day you got to wake up really early and you have to drive for 8 hours that day. You got to drive, from here, you've got to drive 4 hours away, and you've got to drive 4 hours back every day, and stay awake and stay, kind of motivated. Imagine doing a road trip every day of your life, for every day, every week. That's kind of the best way I can do it. So, I live in Kitchener, so imagine, I have to drive to, Huntsville or Ottawa every day. And if you've been on a long trip, if you've been driving that long, by the time you get to the end, you're tired. You don't want to sit down and play video games. You just want to sit down and just take a break. Just not think about something. You don't want to have to use your brain and nerve endings to manipulate your fingers to move characters and think about stuff. And yeah, it's just not that kind of thing. So I watch a lot of movies to kind of just take a break from thinking. So I've been watching some cool stuff, and I just want to kind of talk about 2 or 3 of them here. I watched a movie called Shot Caller, which it has the character from Jaime Lannister from Game of Thrones. I forget his name, but I think he's Finnish or something, Denmark or something like that. He has a different name that I can't pronounce, and it's basically him going from a legitimate businessman, a high class, upper class businessman who's got his life together, good family, and just how one mistake can just turn your life upside down. And he ends up going to prison, and his whole life changes. So he's a completely different person because of the system that he's in. I just found it very interesting. Now I do have kind of a fascination with almost like a criminal underworld. So I watch a lot of prison movies. I find fascinating, and stuff with I don't want to say maybe true crime, but not really true crime. More I love watching stuff about the drug cartels and stuff like that. It's kind of hard to explain. That's kind of my curiosity, just to see how that world works, because it's something so far removed from where I am and where I hopefully, cross fingers, I will never ever get to. I'll never have to be in that point. So anyways, it's really interesting. I think it was a 2016 or 2017 movie. Pretty good. So I guess along with that, I watched American Made, which is also about it's that Tom Cruise movie where he works for the CIA, or I think it's CIA, as a scout pilot, and then he gets recruited by the cartel to run drugs. So he's kind of running both sides of the law. Same kind of deal, drugs, that kind of stuff. Then I watched Valerian and the City of a Thousand Planets. Now this movie got a lot of flack when it came out. A lot of people called it a hot mess. Visually appealing, but story just not there. And you know what? I kind of have to agree, but at the same time, I did really like it. If you're familiar with Luc Besson, who is a French director, writer, producer, whatever, he does a lot of things in the European cinema. It's very much a Luc Besson kind of film. If you watch The Fifth Element, that's a Luc Besson film, and this is like an updated version of The Fifth Element. But yeah, it's crazy. The ideas are kind of out there. There's tons of different alien species, and it's just crazy. I enjoyed it for the visual aspect of it. I found it interesting. And then I watched the Netflix series Dope. Again, going back to my let's watch some crazy stuff. It's just about that criminal underworld. How do drugs get from Mexico or Brazil? How do they get from the cartels to the U.S. and how are they distributed? How do these networks function? Then there's drug lords, there's distributors, there's dealers, there's buyers, there's the police side, and I found it very interesting to figure out, these people are in a constant struggle, a constant daily struggle. They're all trying to get money, and a lot of them is based on the system. The drug problem exists, and this is my own personal opinion. I think the drug problem exists mostly because there are not a whole lot of other opportunities for people to make money, and there's not a whole lot of reason for those people to want to live, I guess I could say. These people live in a lot of really bad conditions, and one of the stories in the show, and this isn't spoiling anything by any means, is just looking at some of the buyers, and there was a guy who he was, again, upstanding citizen. He had a car accident, and he was put on pain medication. His insurance covered it, but they didn't cover it forever. And he had, I think it was a car accident or a workplace. I think it was a workplace accident. I can't really remember. Anyways, he hurt himself. He hurt his back, his neck, his shoulders. So when insurance ran out and he couldn't afford his pain medication, we all know the health system in the U.S. Is exorbitantly expensive, and people just can't afford medication or afford treatment. And so, if he can't afford his legitimate pain medication anymore, he is then forced to seek alternate means, which means they're going for the crack, they're going for the cocaine, they're going for the weed, something to take the pain away, just so they can feel like they can function. So that's just one part of like the scheme, the giant scheme of things works against some of the individuals in the show. and then those people are then persecuted for getting this. So it creates a business. So say the American system. I don't want to pick on the American system. Obviously it works. Otherwise people would just shun it. It works to some degree. As a Canadian, I find a hard time. I have a hard time understanding how people can live like that under that healthcare system. But whatever. It's to each their own. But it shows how that system has created a ripe opportunity for that man to need to get drugs because his insurance doesn't work, doesn't allow him to get any more, and then he finds alternate means, and then the system, the government, goes against him, trying to take that away from him again. So I mean, it's just kind of a circle of misery. I don't know. I don't know. It's weird. I'd say I don't know a lot, but I kind of do, and I kind of don't. I don't. That's just part of it. So if you're interested in that kind of stuff, I would recommend watching the show Dope. It is not an easy watch. So it is kind of disturbing in places. A lot of swearing and things like that. So I mean, don't watch it with your kids around. If you have people around you who are sensitive to that kind of stuff, in general, I wouldn't recommend watching that. And the last movie I want to talk about here, completely opposite, is a movie called The Voices. And this is a kind of a dark comedy starring Ryan Reynolds. I think it has Anna Kendrick in it, and a couple other people I recognize, but I don't really know their names. And it's a dark comedy about mental illness. And I know mental illness isn't something we should laugh about, but it's I hate saying the word interesting, but it's interesting. Ryan Reynolds is a guy who lives a normal life. To him, like from his perspective, he lives a normal life. He has a job. He has a house. He has pets. He has a crush on a girl at work. And then he takes steps. I want to take this girl out, and things kind of go down from there. There's some death involved, and how does it go from there? People die, and he is kind of stuck between looking at the world through the ways that he wants to see the world versus the way that the world is, and that's kind of the light and dark between the mental illness on medication and not on medication. Anyways, it was a very interesting movie. It's funny, it's dark, it's sad, it's disturbing, it's all those kind of things. I watched it when my friend came over to watch or to play inside with me. It sounds like we're little kids. Hey man, you want to come and play inside with me? Anyways, he playing the video game inside, and after that we had some food and we watched that movie, and it was a good time. We both really enjoyed it. And then he ended up staying later and later. And then I think we started talking about Entourage, the HBO show Entourage, and it ended up. I ended up just like going to the dark web, as Buried on Mars calls it. I went to the dark web and just we started watching the Entourage movie, and we just watched that again. So I think we went to bed at like 2:00 in the morning. Which, as a dad, is not a great thing, because Sunday morning, bright and early, you got to get up. So needless to say, I didn't get a whole lot of sleep that night. So, but it was a fun time. Thankfully, my wife is very accommodating. She knows that I kind of need my time, just to after dealing with work and stress and whatever. I enjoy spending my time with my family, but I also need to spend time with my friends. And so she's very accommodating, and I try to get together with my friends like Friday night or on the weekends or something like that, and we'll kind of de-stress or debrief and just kind of like watch stuff on YouTube or play games or watch a movie or something like that. And it's a good time. We enjoy it. I enjoy it. It's getting less and less. I have another friend one recently got married in the summer. Another friend has a kid as well, so I mean he's busy, and so I mean less and less people are coming out. I've got other friends who are addicted to other things and not bad, like they're addicted to playing games online, and so they don't want to come over and play. I sound like a spoiled kid. Every time I say this, it sounds bad. But I really enjoy having friends over, just to hang out, play games. Let's do some couch co-op. And as you get older, that stuff kind of changes. You don't get that as much, which is sad. And I wish it didn't. I wish it didn't happen, but it does. So, hopefully we can kind of get things back on track, and we can, move forward. And maybe it won't be a weekly hangout. It will change to be, monthly or something like that. But at least, I'd still like to get a core group of guys together and just play games and just hang out. And I think it's really good for, it's good for my mental state of things. Because if I'm stuck at home, and all I do is work and do family stuff all the time, I mean, it can drive you crazy sometimes. So you just need an extra outlet once in a while, just to kind of, let things go. So yeah, I guess that was a bit of a rant. I'm sorry if that didn't make any sense. But that's just kind of where I am, as a, I don't want to say a new dad, but a new person into this kind of constantly molding, shaping form of life and existence. But yeah, other than that, I think life has been pretty good. I've now kept a small human alive for over a year. I think that's an accomplishment. We just had his birthday this past Saturday. He was born on the 19th last year, so the 19th was his birthday this year, and it was good. It was my wife and I spent most of the day kind of reminiscing about, okay, what we were doing last year. Well, last year at this time, we were going to bed. Oh, and then at this time, well, we were screaming I had to go to the hospital. Oh, and then, then this. So that was fun. It was kind of a weird, it felt weird looking back, because I can put myself in that exact spot. I know exactly where I was at this point. I know when you said this, and I know when you said this. And then after a certain point, it just became a blur of, okay, we're doing this, and then, oh, now we're going into labor. Okay, now we're doing this. And then, okay, now we're moving rooms. Now we're changing this. Now we're going to the theater. Now we're doing, it's just a ton of a sequence of events that happen so fast that you can't mentally keep up with it. And you're just kind of along for the ride, especially as the man in the relationship. But it's been good. It's been good. I've learned a lot of things about being a dad that I didn't know. I think one of the biggest things I've learned is that my parents didn't know what they were doing, and neither do I. And I think that's just kind of a stretch of things where I look back on my parents and I'm like, my parents were smart. They knew this, they knew that. I had questions, they knew what to do. Even now you think my dad would know what to do. My mom would know what to do. And it's kind of stressful for me to think, at some point my son's going to grow up and he's going to ask me a question and I'm going to have to know what to do. And I hope to God that I know. And then I realized, you know what? My parents probably thought the same thing. They probably thought, what the heck am I going to do with this kid? If they have a problem, how do I'm going to have to solve it. And it's kind of cool and weird to think that our parents were at the same point that I'm in right now, where I'm here and I'm raising a human and I don't know what I'm doing, but I'm doing it, and I think I'm doing okay. I don't know, it's crazy. It's crazy to think. Anyways, I don't want to ramble on for too long. It's been 45 minutes of me complaining about Best Buy and Nintendo and everything else I've been doing. So I'm going to call it. Please, if you enjoyed this, please leave me a comment down in the comment section on YouTube if you would like. If you are not watching this on YouTube, then feel free to send me a tweet on Twitter. Again, I am at CreepLeech, CREEP1337 on Twitter and YouTube. You can find me there as well. Send me a quick message, and hopefully for the next episode, if you have any questions you'd like me to answer, or some feedback or something, I'd love to read it on the show. And again, if you have any ideas for feedback or topics or anything like that you'd like to see, again, please let me know in any kind of form that you see fit and are able to get a hold of me, either Twitter or YouTube. Or if you know me on Facebook, you can find me there. Anyways, thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. And I will see you guys in the Not So Special podcast, episode 4, coming next month. All right, I'll see you then.